Once upon a time, in a small village nestled in the mountains, there was a young man named Sora who dreamed of flying like a bird. He would often gaze up at the sky and marvel at the graceful dance of the birds as they soared and glided effortlessly through the air. One day, Sora decided that he would dedicate himself to the art of flying. He spent hours each day practicing, jumping off of high cliffs and flapping his arms with all his might. But no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't seem to achieve the freedom and lightness of the birds. Frustrated and discouraged, Sora sought the advice of a wise old monk who lived in a nearby temple. The monk listened patiently to Sora's tale of woe, and then smiled gently and said, "My dear friend, you are trying too hard. To fly like a bird, you must first let go of your desire to fly like a bird." Sora was taken aback by the monk's words. "But how can I fly without desiring to fly?" he asked. The monk chuckled softly. "Desire is like a weight that anchors us to the ground," he said. "To fly, you must let go of your desire and simply be present in the moment. Let your body and your spirit be light and free, and the rest will follow." Sora was intrigued by the monk's words, and he decided to take his advice to heart. He began to practice his flying with a new sense of ease and openness, letting go of his desperate desire to achieve his goal. One day, as he was practicing on a high cliff, Sora suddenly felt a rush of energy flow through his body. His arms began to flap effortlessly, and before he knew it, he was soaring through the air like a bird. For hours he flew, higher and higher, feeling more alive and free than he ever had before. And as he glided through the clouds, he realized that the key to flying like a bird had been within him all along. It was the simple act of letting go. From that day on, Sora continued to practice his flying with a new sense of joy and freedom. And though he never forgot the wisdom of the old monk, he knew that the truest teacher of all was the open sky and the birds that danced within it. As Sora continued to practice flying, he became more attuned to the rhythms of the natural world around him. He began to notice the way the wind shifted and changed, and how the birds adjusted their wings to glide effortlessly through the currents. He realized that to truly master the art of flying, he needed to be in harmony with the natural forces around him. He began to listen more closely to the world around him, letting go of his ego and his desire to control every aspect of his flight. In doing so, he discovered a sense of peace and contentment that he had never known before. He felt as though he was a part of something much larger than himself, something ancient and eternal that had been there long before he was born, and would be there long after he was gone. Years passed, and Sora became known throughout the land as the greatest flyer in all the land. He would often take young students under his wing, teaching them the lessons he had learned about letting go and finding harmony with the world around them. And though he had achieved his dream of flying like a bird, he knew that the true gift of his journey had been the inner transformation that had taken place within him. He had learned that the key to happiness and fulfillment lay not in achieving our goals, but in the way we approached the journey itself. And so, as he looked back on his life, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for all the teachers and experiences that had brought him to this moment. And he knew that no matter where his journey might take him next, he would always carry with him the wisdom of the sky and the boundless joy of flying like a bird. As Sora grew older, his body became less nimble, and he could no longer fly as high or as long as he once had. But he found new joy in watching the young flyers he had taught take to the sky, their bodies light and free, their spirits lifted by the joy of flight. And though he knew that his time on this earth was coming to an end, he was at peace, knowing that he had lived a life filled with wonder and meaning. As his final day drew near, Sora climbed to the top of a high mountain, overlooking the vast expanse of the land he had loved and flown over for so many years. And as he looked out at the world, he felt a deep sense of gratitude for all the moments of joy and beauty that had filled his life. And in that moment, as the sun began to set and the sky turned shades of red and gold, Sora felt his body grow light and free once more. He spread his arms and felt himself lifted off the ground, his heart soaring with a sense of wonder and awe. And as he flew higher and higher towards the setting sun, he knew that he had finally become one with the sky, a part of the eternal dance of life and death that flowed through all things. And in that moment of pure, unbridled joy, Sora knew that he had truly achieved his dream of flying like a bird, not just in body, but in spirit and soul. And he knew that his journey, though it had come to an end, would continue on in the hearts and minds of all those he had touched with his teaching. For Soar had learned that the true gift of life was not in the destination, but in the journey itself, in the moments of beauty and wonder that we experience along the way. And he had lived his life with his eyes and his heart wide open, ready to embrace every new adventure and every new challenge that came his way. And so, as the sun set on Sora's final flight, the world around him grew still and quiet, and the only sound that could be heard was the gentle rustle of feathers as the birds of the sky paid tribute to a great flyer and an even greater soul.